So quick one today, we're going to do a training guide and review of this Neymar. So the Neymar card that's the most similar to this new Neymar is this Brazil version, and when you look at them straight away, you'll see that the old Brazil Neymar is a creative playmaker, whereas the new one is a prolific winger. So first off, you're going to be thinking, okay, this new Neymar is going to be better at scoring goals, and when you look at the pass stats, you would think that too. 89 low pass and 91 lofted passes versus 80 and 78 compared to the new version. But when you look at the goals per game ratio, this new Neymar is a great playmaker. He has 22 goals and 16 assists in 20 games. And you can see from the clips here that his passing works just fine because he has low pass at 80, and then true pass will boost that low pass high enough. It's going to be enough for playing these little through balls into Messi or Suarez, assuming you have those guys. But honestly, no complaints with this Neymar in terms of his playmaking ability. When he first came out, I was assuming I was going to stick with the creative playmaker version because I want Neymar to create chances. But even just look at that pass there, the crazy curl. He was really good. And I think one of the reasons he was so good at playmaking is because he's a prolific winger and he's out to get goals for himself. It usually leaves him in areas where that he can score a goal, so your opponent has to kind of cover the block with Neymar shooting, but then Neymar can then play the pass. And then also to talk about his finishing was amazing. Obviously it is going to be when you've seen that goal record at the start, but I could trust him on either foot. And his kicking power is slightly better than the old version of Neymar. That Neymar has, I think, 78 kicking power on my build, whereas this new one has 82. And I always think Neymar is someone whose kicking power feels a lot higher than the stats says, but it's definitely true for this one as well. So definitely impressed with this Neymar so far. And honestly, I thought he was going to be kind of a dud player. I mean, he did get in the way of that shot, so that was a bit annoying. But I thought he was going to be a dud player that I wasn't going to be interested in. But the more I'm playing, I think the more fun I'm having with him there. He also did miss that kind of open goal, but it's an anomaly. Because he does something like this a few seconds later and just runs through the big gap in the middle. And the biggest improvement with this Neymar compared to the last version is the pace. You can definitely feel more of a burst when you're running with him on the ball. Now, two things you want to look at when you're looking at this Neymar is when you're building him, keep aware of his offensive awareness. I tried to build a 78 offensive awareness. I didn't like it. Then also you can consider going into a 70 physical contact build. So the build I used at the moment, and this is the build I'd recommend, looks like this after boosts. I don't have any skills on yet, but we do have the fantasies to boost. So look at the progression points. This is what it looks like. 9 into shooting, 1 into passing, 7 dribbling, 11 dexterity, and 9 lower body strength. But if you want to, you can actually get the physical contact up to 70, because I've talked about it numerous times. If your physical contact is at 70, I do notice you're holding defenders off more often, because you see in that last clip there, he didn't hold off the defenders quite like someone like Messi would, because this Messi starts off with 72 physical contact. So it is something to consider. So if you did want to get that physical contact up to 70, this is how I do it. I would take 2 points off dribbling and then 1 point off the lower body strength, put those points back in to the aerial strength till you get to 5, and then you do have 1 point left over. I guess just put it into passing, and this is what his build will look like. The reason I do this is just because if you take off that dribbling, you still keep it above 95, and 95 is usually the level that you want for elite tier dribblers, and then he still has 99 balance, so it's all good there. Now, when we look at his skills, first off, I would recommend Fighting Spirit. It just helps when the player's under pressure. I'd also put Acrobatic Finishing on Neymar. I went for Marseille turn just because he's going to be playing left wing as a prolific winger. If you're going to play him in the middle, like I have here, Marseille turn isn't as important, but if you play him left wing, it definitely is something I'd recommend. You could also go for long range shooting and weighted pass. So weighted pass will help him feel more like the creative playmaker Neymar, because while the low pass did feel pretty much the same between them, even though the other Neymar has a lot more low passing, the lofted pass was definitely something I noticed a lack of on this card. So if you put weighted pass on, that'll close the gap. If you want to know why low pass feels kind of just as good at 81 as it does in 88, I talk about it in my How to Train Midfielders guide, so just check that out on my channel. So those are the skills I'd recommend on Neymar. Now, there are a few you could put on to make him more fun and more like Neymar, and those two are mainly going to be Rabona and Sombrero. And if we look at the other Neymar, he does start off with Sombrero. It's kind of weird to have a Neymar without Sombrero. It's not really effective, or it is effective, sorry. It's not really meta. Like, it's not like, you know, squeezing every last little bit out of the card and getting the most out of them. But it's Neymar. If you want to have fun, go for Sombrero. And then Rabona is also very good just for fake shots, because if you do a fake shot with a right-footed player that has Rabona and you're running down the wing like this, if you do a fake shot, see, it does a fake Rabona and you can cut inside really quickly. Obviously, the same would be applied on the other side with a left-footed player if you just reverse the angle. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Neymar. I think he's honestly very, very good, and I'd say you'd be very happy if you have him.